Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here to check out Perfect Dark. As we all sort of kind of know, if you've actually been paying attention to this channel, I've basically had nothing that I've wanted to cover for the past couple of weeks, so I've had to rely on games that have been really far in the backlog, or in this case, games that I really like, because Perfect Dark is my favorite Nintendo 64 game, it's my favorite console-locked FPS now that Halo is gone, and it's still like one of the most enjoyable games I've played in a long time. Even with the 3 or 4 hours that I've put into it now, it still remains one of my favorites for multiple reasons, all of which I hope to cover in this video. So just before we begin, I'm going to point out that I'm playing this on RetroArch. It's Mupen 64 core, because it's the only emulator I could get working, because Nintendo 64 emulation is a bit of a bitch. And even then, I usually don't like using RetroArch for anything, because its user interface is a giant piece of unbelievable garbage. But, like, it gets so bad in this emulator that if you want to adjust the analog stick sensitivity, you have to restart the emulator entirely. It's so dumb. There's shit like that all over the place with RetroArch. It makes no sense, and I hate it. So, we'll go have a quick look around. Notably, it's got a language filter, which is kind of neat. It just filters out all the dams, because there's a lot of dams in this game for some reason. You've got plenty of video options, and you've got to combine these with emulator core options in order to get a decent picture. So I'm playing this game in as high resolution as possible, 16 by 9. It almost fills the screen, and it looks pretty damn good. It's got a higher internal resolution, so it looks better. Notably, the high res mode does actually make a difference. Like, look at the textures on the left, for example, on the little robot arm thing. They actually do get updated in the high res mode. This game was actually a really big pusher of the Nintendo 64 at the time. There were so many like little touches that this game had that were really impressive even back then. It still beats out a lot of modern day FPSs in terms of things like options. Now, I said before I was playing this on an Xbox 360 pad, and this is true. So how the hell did I manage to remap it from the Nintendo 64 controller, the three-handled beast that it is, to an Xbox 360 pad? Well, it's quite easy. I remapped the left analog stick to the D-pad, and I remapped the right analog stick to the analog stick, obviously, and I used the L and R buttons as L and Z, the left trigger and right trigger, I should say, is L and Z, and just the face buttons however they fell. And then I'm using this control style here, one that has the analog stick be looking around. So the game plays almost like a modern FPS. There is an Xbox 360 port of this game, which makes everything higher def, and it does things along the lines of update the controls, but this is probably the best you're going to get without relying on the Xbox 360 port. I really wish they brought that to PC, but they just refuse to for some reason, despite the fact that I think it'd be quite good for them, you know? Then again, this game would become almost laughably easy on mouse and keyboard, like, good lord. So you got plenty of display options here, including paintball, which is nice. That was previously only a cheat in GoldenEye 007, which was the game that the team that made this made beforehand. You've also got tons of cheats. There are a ridiculous amount of cheats, most of which I haven't unlocked, but it's worth pointing out that it works the same way it does in GoldenEye, where you need to beat specific missions in specific time frames in order to actually get the cheats, which is nice, gives you a little bit of extra replay value. I don't know why it's skipping frames. It's a bloody Nintendo 64 emulator, and I'm on an 8700K. It shouldn't be having a problem. So I've got multiple kinds of gameplay here, but the one I just want to show off a little bit before we really get into it is the Carrington Institute. Now, when I was a kid, I loved this place. You could just wander around here for hours just looking at all the stuff they've got. At least when I was a kid anyway. It doesn't feel anywhere near as big as it used to, but when you're like 9 years old, this place feels huge. I am also playing with like an unlocked frame rate internally, so the game actually runs a bit smoother than it used to, but it's still not particularly great. You can't turn both of them on. You can't turn both of the overclocking options in the MovePen 64 core on at once. Otherwise, it just refuses to work properly. It's a little weird, but yeah, this place is huge, and there's actually a few neat things that you can go do. There's tutorials for gadgets that you can go do on the top floor. Every one of these rooms has like a little information console on things such as like the people, the locations, and the weaponry that you can go and read at any time, and they get updated as you complete missions. And this is my favorite area of the game, you know, at least of Carrington Institute, which is the firing range. Because they have challenges for every single one of the weapons. 3 different sets of challenges. They can be pretty simple, like shooting targets, or in the case of one of my favorite weapons in the game, the laptop gun. How am I supposed to hit these? Well, I have to take advantage of something, and that is the deploy as sentry gun ability. If I can throw it properly, Jesus, hang on, we'll try that again. Every weapon in this game, every single one, without any sort of failure, will have a secondary fire. In the case of the laptop gun, it turns it into a standalone machine gun turret. Yes, really. Some of them are a little less interesting, like one of my favorite weapons in these games, the Falcon 2s, just due to being relatively simple guns. The best that they've got going for them is a pistol whip, which is slightly disappointing, but it works. Then you get guns like the Phoenix, an alien weapon that shoots explosive shells. Yes, really. They hurt like a bitch in the game's multiplayer mode. You have no idea. But still, the fact that you've got a pistol that shoots explosive shells as a secondary fire is awesome. There are a ton of guns in this game. Like, this list here isn't even all of them. It's a fair amount of them, but it's not all of them. There's definitely more. Like, look at this gun, for example. This is the Reaper. No, I'm not kidding. You know what the fun thing is? If I hold the B button to activate secondary mode, you can literally just make it like a grinder that chews people up. What? What would convince them to think of something like that? Oh, for God's sake, I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize about that. For some reason, my encoder was not liking the video stream, so if you saw any dropped frames during that first bit of the video, that's why. So we're going to try running it on a lower encoding preset and hope that it doesn't choke to death. So maybe it's got something to do with the fact that I'm running this at internal resolution of like 4K. Oh well. So yeah, it's a neat place to explore and go read things like information on all these different weapons and stuff like that. It used to be so much cooler as a kid. That's the Carrington Institute logo. So for those of you who don't know the story of this game, I mean, fair enough, most people didn't pay attention anyway, I sure didn't. Basically, we're a corporation on Earth, we're trying to fight off the Datadyne Corporation, who we know are evil, and basically we get caught up in the middle of an intergalactic alien war. That's more or less the long and the short of it. Not much else to say about it really, so let's just go and hop in. So here's our 2 main methods of play, the story missions and the combat simulator. We'll be playing both of them, but it's worth noting the cooperative and counter-operative, which is an odd choice, but one that I actually really appreciate for multiple reasons. So we have story missions. These story missions can be played on 3 difficulties: Agent, Special, and Perfect Agent. And these difficulties actually have not only like damage increases and decreases and AI improvements and what have you, but they also have different objectives. So for example, on Secret Agent, we need to obtain our disguise, check in, subvert the security monitoring system, and board Air Force One. Pretty simple, right? But on Perfect Agent, we need to do all of that, plus we need to obtain flight plans from the safe. So it makes the missions a little bit more complicated. There are several missions where this doesn't exactly matter though. Like there's a couple of missions like very later on where they will, yeah, it's still causing drop frames. I'm gonna have to see if I can fix that. And we'll see how we do. So, as I was saying, there are some missions later on that cause some problems in the sense that you'll be playing through the same mission on Agent, then you'll play on Special Agent, and the objectives they add on Special Agent are basically the same things you were doing anyway to get through the entirety of the mission, but they just made them actual objectives. And the same thing happens on Perfect Agent as well. As sometimes, it's not very common, but it does happen. The main culprit for this is the very final mission on the Skedar base, because they basically make you do the same thing 3 times over. Although you can just play through entirely on Perfect Agent and you don't have to worry about the other 2 difficulties. Although if you do want all the cheats, you do have to play on the other difficulties. With that said, we're going to play on Special Agent, because the last time I tried to record this video, it went terribly, and I played on Perfect Agent. I'm willing to guess that's why.
Agent Dark in position. I can see the main entrance to the base, and I can just make out the cable car arrival point.
Excellent, Joanna. That cable car is your way in. Our observer at the lower terminus has spotted a member of the flight crew boarding a minute ago. She is being escorted by air-based troops. I don't have to remind you
that they're probably innocent of any involvement in Trent's little scheme. They can't shoot at them, even if they shoot at me. What about the NSA agents?
I don't know how far the conspiracy has spread through the NSA, but I'm willing to bet that the men Trent has around him here are loyal to him and his plan. You have to get the evidence of Trent's betrayal onto Air Force One and show it to the President.
Yes, and protect him from his abductors. Do you have any idea what Trent's plan might be yet? What about those blonde guys?
Only vague suspicions, and I won't distract you with those. Good luck. Carrington out.
So in a little bit of a strange detour from most Perfect Dark missions, in this game in this mission I say, we actually start out with a bit of stealth. Much as you can call it stealth anyway. There we go. We just need to make sure they don't hit this alarm. We can actually trigger this alarm. I'm just saying, we can go up to it, hit the action button, and immediately fail the mission. This is something we can do. Not something you want to do, but something you can do. So we do need to obtain our little disguise here from this lady. Wow, really? Where's his friend? I know there's another guy around here. Where is he? There he is. There we go. You might not want to be sedated, mate, but it's still a good song. If I remember correctly, there's some proximity mines around here. Thankfully, this is one that let you can't walk off of. Indeed, there are proximity mines here. For some reason. I don't know of any use for them in this game, but they are here. At least in this mission. But yes, you start out with a bit of a stealth mission to get that girl's uniform, and you might be wondering, how did I know to do that? Well, I will admit that the game is a little bit lightweight on the details about what you have to do sometimes, but a lot of the time they do give you a fair bit of briefing information on what you need to do. You need to find a case to put the equipment in. Well, that's good. I know where that is. But yeah, they do warn you in the briefing about some of the things you need to do, but it can be a little bit not obvious as to where it all is. So, for an example, you might not actually know that you need to find a case unless you pay attention to the briefing. I know where the case is, and it's in this little side door here. One you might not never notice if you're walking through the front door normally when you've got the disguise on. Oh yeah, you can also walk in the front door immediately and just, like, fail the mission. This is something you can do. You do also have the ability to punch people, and you can even disarm them, which is a really useful, little thing. Smack, smack, smack. Just knocks them out cold, doesn't kill them. Very useful if you want to go non-lethal. Although, going non-lethal in this game is not advised. Use that case to conceal your equipment. I sure will, I just need to actually get inside first. I do apologize for the dropped frames on the video. I can't figure out what's causing it. I'm not even playing this internally at 4K. I'm playing it at like 1080p as it turns out.
Okay, you know the way from here.
By the way, these faces, these are all Rare employees, I'm pretty sure. At least for the most part. Although it's a bit weird to have this lady here. Mainly because she has the same face as a Datadyne secretary from earlier on. It's a little odd.
How's things?
Hello.
Hello.
These controls actually work relatively well. Right. Just need to select the suitcase, drop my equipment here, but now this means I have basically no time.
Get stopped unless you do
I need to make a run for it. This guy will recognize you, so just punch him out. He's a bit of a dick.
Hi there.
Hello. Goodbye. Strafe walking in this game is effective. So we're just going to walk up to this guy. Hi. We're going to disarm him. We're going to knock this guy out. And we're going to shut down the system. He pulls out a pistol because the AI in this game is actually pretty good at that shit. And now the music starts. This game's soundtrack is fantastic, by the way. Because here come some bastards. Yep. They have what they call K7 Avengers. They are a very good assault rifle. They will tear you to pieces. Do not play this game on Perfect Agent straight up. At least without playing the earlier difficulties first. Just to figure out that you need to avoid people with K7 Avengers like the fucking plague. Because K7 Avengers can kill you without so much as a second thought. It can get messy. I'm so lucky none of that hit me. I am so goddamn lucky. Here's the K7 Avenger. It's a beautiful looking gun. Like, most of the weapons in this game really have that techno thriller vibe going for them, which I really like. This gun looks like it comes straight out of a sci-fi movie from 25 years in the future. It looks so nice. Anyway, we don't have to do anything else, we just need to board Air Force One. Got our crap on board, and that's all we need to worry about. Oh, hello. Sorry, did I forget to shoot you? The enemy AI in this game is actually pretty good at what it does. It's surprisingly capable. Oh god, I keep getting dropped frames. I saw that one in real time. But yeah, the enemy AI in this game is really good. They stumble, they falter. They can also do some ridiculous shit like strut at you. They are smart enough to know to pull out an extra gun if you manage to disarm them. They can do things like throw grenades at you. They can do all sorts of shit. It's great. It's funny listening to them just pull out guns, extra guns, or say, stupid gun, it's useless. They're not stupid, they're actually fun to fight. And it's actually held down by a bunch of things that were not common in first-person shooters at the time. Like, they have locational damage, so shoot them in the leg and they'll limp, shoot them in the arm and they'll hold it as they run away. You can shoot the guns out of their hands. That is a thing. And they will actually, like, go and try and either A, pick it up, or pick up someone else's gun that someone else dropped on the ground. Like, they are not stupid. And it makes them really fun to fight, especially when you've got big numbers and you have to be very careful with what you do with them. Ow. There we go. Now, if I remember correctly, I can actually board the plane from here. And one of the other neat things about this game, and something that I don't see in any other games recently at the very least, is that depending on what entrance you take in a particular area, you can actually start the next mission in a completely separate place. There are two different ways to get on Air Force One, and depending on what way you got on in the previous mission, it'll actually affect your starting position in the next mission. So we'll actually be starting out in the bottom of the plane, but we could have got on the actual passenger entrance and end up in there too. So yeah, we can do all sorts of things like that. There are some other things that you can do along these lines as well. Since we're starting out in the undercarriage, we'll actually be able to do something else as well, but we'll get to that.
My answer remains the same. I'm sorry, Trent, but no. I won't loan the Pelagic 2 to Datadyne. Now please, can we move on to other matters?
But this is a golden opportunity to show that America has faith in its industries and will back them.
Damn it, man. I say no, and I mean no. I'm not going to change my mind on this. I need my advisors to be unbiased, and recently you've not been giving me the impartiality I require. Let it go, and we'll say no more. This is your last chance.
As you wish, sir.
The voice acting is actually pretty good.
Last chance?
Like,
You fool.
really good for 2000s era. Early 2000s era. This game came out like slightly before Halo. But yeah, it sounds good. It's actually really well done for a game of this type.
Let's retrieve the evidence.
We need a lift key card. So see that? That's one of those hover bikes that we rode around on earlier. And if we manage to get to this guy and take his card, we can wander on back. And send that down. So now, when we get into the next mission, and there's our equipment model. Can I grab this, please? This is my shit. No, I do not want to use my combat boost right now, please. I should be able to grab this. Why can't I grab this? There we go. A little bit of a weird bug, but there we go. We've got our guns back now. Unfortunately, we can't really use any of them just yet. Hey, that's not smack. Just trust me, it's better if you two are unconscious with this next bit. I'm actually going to take the dumbwaiter up, because why not? No reason not to, actually. This will get us past a fair few guards. This plane is big. Like, this plane is really big. A lot of the level designs in this game are actually really nice too. I'm sorry. You do not get to... Uh-oh, where'd he go? Yeah, they recognize me. Not great, but... Bloody fly. Under no circumstances am I allowed to let these people hit the alarm. There you are, Mr. President.
Who are you, young lady?
Mr. President, you're in danger. Trent is trying to kidnap you.
You can't make accusations like that without evidence. I assume that you have some.
This is a recording of a meeting between Trent and the other conspirators.
It seems overwhelming. I'm in your hands. What do we do now?
Don't ask me how they managed to do that mid-flight.
What the hell was that?
We have to get you to the...
Oh well, he's safe now, so we can just pull out a cyclone And we need to get this guy back down to where we just were. And guess what? Now Datadyne's here, and they're shooting up the place. Because of course they are. Come on, Mr. President. It's too bad I can't send him in the damn dumbwaiter. That would make things so much easier on me. No, we have to take it through the entire plane, which is now being raided by Datadyne spooks with K7 Avengers. It's really not pleasant. Thankfully now that they... Oh yeah, let me show you the old fire of the Cyclone while I'm at it, just to give you an idea of what these guys were thinking. This is called Magazine Discharge. It fires every round in the magazine at a higher rate. Why? Who knows? Oh, hello. Mr. Blondes. These guys are always fun to deal with. I really need to be careful not to take any more hits now, because if I do, I'm dead. Come on, Mr. President.
Why are they shooting at me?
So we're back in the undercarriage of the plane, and here's the escape pod. So we got the president out, but... what about us? What do we plan on doing? Just trying to make sure I don't run into any bastards on the way. Don't know what Rossarama is, but I'm willing to bet that's an inside joke at Rare. Maybe a mine will detach the UFO. You mean like this kind of mine?
Elvis! I can't detach that tube from the fuselage. Can you take it out?
It's okay, Joanna. What's
That mission is actually one of the ones that's like most changed by the change from Special to Perfect Agent. If you put it up to Perfect Agent, you actually have to go to the cockpit and stop the plane from crashing, which is an interesting concept.
out of options? Joanna!
And if you don't, the entire plane explodes and you die. It's actually kind of neat. I love when they just stack explosions on top of explosions in this game. I appreciate that Elvis the alien was willing to give himself up for that. He's a nice guy. So, we have one more mission to do in this batch. Sometimes they come in batches of 2 or 3, and sometimes they're just solo missions, and they tend to put a couple of solo missions on the end of the campaign, but for now, we're just going to play, again, this on Special Agent, and look what's there! Look what survived! If we hadn't gone and checked out that hoverbike, we'd pretty much be, we wouldn't have it, and now we'd be doing this entire mission on foot.
Agent Dark, please reply.
Something's jamming my transmissions. It's coming from that other craft. I'd better find the jamming device and check that Elvis is okay. Not forgetting the president, of course.
Also, yes, we magically changed outfits between the time that we survived the plane crash. I don't know how we did it, but yeah. Also, we get like the... we get the Star Wars style scanner, because why not? But sure, we can make this work. Because we have a hoverbike. This is like one of 2 missions where you get to use the hoverbike. It is the best. Also, if you're wondering, it is easy to avoid falling off ledges. They don't force you to go off them in any way. So you don't have to worry about that, they're just there for show. The guns feel great, even to this day, like, especially since they're all so different. Like, we even have a sniper rifle, which is nice, and we can use it too. Missed. No, there we go. Got some hits in. I actually managed to hit the bloody Mr. Blonde's gun, which is amazing. I need to back the fuck up so I don't get shot. I can even zoom in a little bit too, there we go. Yeah, most of the guns in this game still feel amazing to this day. They are... They're really well designed, actually. A lot of them have a really cool techno feel to them. As I said before, the whole everything having 2 fire modes is actually really useful. Especially the K7 Avenger on certain levels, because that threat detector is really good for things like automated turrets. You have no idea how useful it is for automated turrets and stuff like that. And I just need to make sure I'm in the right spot, because I don't have my analog stick up high enough to actually scroll the playing field. There we go. Nice shot in the face. Where are you going, buddy? Oh, he was bringing friends. That's not good for me. I should back up. Get the K7 back out. Hi. These two are running around with chickens like the head cut off. That's a little strange. They're usually more intelligent than that. I shot the gun out of his hand again. Can you tell that happens often? Yeah, there we go. So, this is basically just one big open field and we need to... Well, I say open. There are like little narrow tunnels and stuff to go down, but we basically need to go and find a few things. There's a clone of the president. There is the escape pod that we need to go find and shut down. There's a bunch of other little things. Actually, I think the escape pod's back here and I went right past it. There it is. No, that's not the escape pod, it's the thing past that. So I got to him first, which is not great. The sheer amount of variety, too, is what's great. Like, I'm not using much more than the K7 Avenger right now, because it is the best gun to use in this situation, but you've still got, like, the sniper rifle. You've still got the sniper rifle, you've still got the Falcon 2, you've got bloody remote mines if you need them, for some reason. Also, the bloody emulator's having some kind of visual glitch where it's jumping about a bit here. And when you start getting onto the alien ships and you start getting, like, the Mauler and the Phoenix and the Callisto, not to mention the Reaper, you get all these cool toys to play around with. And even games like Halo don't have as many cool toys as games like this do. It's unbalanced as hell, that's for sure, but it's still impressive. There's a presidential scanner. So we need to turn that on, because it'll tell us where the president is. Well, the president and his clone. We need to figure out which is which. It is actually possible to do, like, a trick shot by throwing a remote mine over, like, 2 walls and straight down into a pit and then detonating it. It's awesome. It's a great speedrunning tactic. But I don't usually like doing it that way, just because it's a bit of a pain in the dick. So, the real president is here. Now, I want to be off this thing, because just trust me on this one. It's a lot easier if I'm not wobbling around the place. Also, yeah, there's this thing. Now, here he is with the president, but if you shoot him enough, he runs away. So this is the proper president. We need to take the proper president with us, because there is a place where we can put him down and have him be protected by Elvis while we take care of the fake president. Uh-oh. He's not moving. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Those damn gunner robots, by the way, they're absolute bastards. That's why you want to take them out as quickly as humanly possible. Am I in the right place? I'm positive this is where Elvis crashed. The president seems to think so. He's running for it. Yep, there's Elvis's crash site. Hey, Elvis. He's literally like all the stereotypical aliens that you might think of. Thanks for the free ammo as well. So what else do I have to do? Right, I don't have to actually kill the alien ship on this difficulty, which is nice, because trying to take out the alien ship on this difficulty is a bit of a pain in the neck, in the upper difficulty, I should say, is a real pain in the neck, because, man, it takes a lot of bullets. It's guarded by a couple of automatic turrets, which is why the K7 Avenger is so useful on this level, and it's just, yeah, it's not a fun time, especially since you take more damage on Perfect Agent. So yeah, we get to go in here now. This is why night vision is useful.
What the hell?
Shot the gun out of his hand again. The guns are huge with their hitboxes, so... There we go. Presidential clone is down, and we win. On bloody Perfect Agent, you have to run back to the alien ship. It's so... It's so weird being able to just straight up win.
I can't believe Easton would do such a thing. I knew he was ambitious, yes, but this...
Just one thing, sir. What is the Pelagic 2 that Trent wanted so badly?
It's a U.S. government deep-sea research vessel, one of a kind. The only ship that can conduct a full-scale...
The alien's name is Elvis, by the way.
Trent
I just...
wanted to loan it to a Data 9
I feel the need to point that out. It's
Trent has
it's
a
so
lot to
silly,
answer
but
for,
I like it.
But I don't think we'll find him now.
Yeah, these skipped frames are really starting to get on my nerves, I gotta say.
You have failed, Easton. You are a flawed device, and we need you no longer.
Just try it, you Scandinavian freak.
You can actually get his gun there, the gold-plated revolver, if you go and disarm him. Also, yep, there's the alien. He's dead. He didn't even try to take a shot at him. He just, like, took the hit. But yeah, that gun, you can actually take it. It makes getting rid of the alien ship actually really easy, but that also means you need to get close. And that means getting close very quickly, otherwise he'll kill the president. Which is not great. But yeah, that was a look at some of the solo missions. Most of the solo missions in this game are actually really well designed. Even, like, most people hate the Pelagic 2 mission because the Pelagic 2 mission is like a huge maze in comparison to everything else, but I actually really like it because it's really well done. But we're not going to play that one today because we've already played 3 solo missions. We're already at the half-hour mark. Actually, that's a lie. We're at like the 40-minute mark, aren't we? But yeah, all the missions are well designed. It's really nice having the different sets of mission objectives for each difficulty. Not to mention you have to play through them all in order to really get things like the bonus missions at the end and things like the cheats going on. But I think it's time we talked about the best thing about this game. Oh, I should point out while we're here, you can also play every mission in the game cooperatively in both like split screen and with like a AI simulant, which is what they call bots in this game. But if I'm being perfectly honest, the bots in this game are not fantastic. They're kind of slow on the trigger. I usually play these games on Perfect Agent, and when you play these games on Perfect Agent, the bots are just not very good at what they do. They'll usually die very quickly. So they're good for a little bit of extra, what's the word? Just bullet shields. And when you're playing in cooperative mode, you're actually pretty damn useful because while you share the same health bar, you're still both perfectly capable. There is also counter-operative mode, which is insane. I'm legitimately not sure what made them come up with this kind of game mode, but it's a really neat mode to have. So you start the mission, and see how there is a split screen now for the second player, but they're holding the enemy's gun, and they're standing in the middle of the level. That's because... look at that. He's actually playing as an enemy, And if there was a second player here, they could actually slow me down. They could try and shoot me. They could try and kill me. That's the entire point of counter operative. Just to try and kill the other player. And when they die, they will respawn. Well, you know, if I actually had a second controller plugged in, they would actually respawn in the body of another enemy. I do not know what convinced them to do this, but it is a really neat thing that they did. And look, it even counts as completed on their end if you fail. Oh. One moment, I'm just going to reset it. Hold my fast forward key, there we go. So now, let's go and dive into the combat simulator. My favorite part of this game by far. So, the combat simulator actually shares a few things with the campaign. Mainly, if you play through the campaign and you get things like weaponry, you'll actually unlock them for use in the combat simulator. However, it does also have its own standalone challenges, and these standalone challenges are everything from regular one-on-one duels to other game modes to other maps to all that sort of thing. And the more that you play through and the more challenges that you successfully complete, the more stuff you'll also unlock for the combat simulator. So if you don't want to play the single player at all and you just want to jump into the multiplayer side of things, just start playing the challenges and you'll unlock everything in the game for these. You'll unlock everything in the combat simulator through those challenges, including things like maps and weapons and game modes and what have you. You got 6 game modes and they're all pretty simple. King of the Hill, capture the case, capture the flag basically. Hold the briefcase, which is like, you know, you take the thing and you run away. Hacker Central, where you get a data uplink and use it on a computer. Not that fun. Not those 2 modes in Pop and Cap, they aren't really that fun, and you're better off just going with free-form combat. You do also have a bunch of other things to play around with as well, like one-hit kills, slow motion, fast movement, no auto-aim. You've also got things like your limits for score and team score. Player handicaps, we usually turn this way up to like 1,000. You can turn that all the way up to 1,000 extra health. But the best thing about this, and the best thing that kept this game in my Nintendo 64 for years, are the simulants, aka the bots. You've got all sorts of different pots you can get. Not only do you have like the regular old-fashioned bots here, like just really easy, normal, hard, and really good, and then there's Dark Sim, which is literally an aimbot. You actually have to win challenges against them unless you make use of a particular bug. But you've also got different kinds of AI as well, like cowards will run away. You have vengeful sims who'll go after the last person that killed them. You'll have turtle sims. If I remember correctly, they always look for a shield before they come fight you. And rocket sims who'll always have a rocket launcher. It's certainly something having this many like choosable AIs, and you can even configure them a bit more than that as well. So let's just add like let's just fill out the game with hard sims, because why not? If we select one, not only can we change difficulty, but we can even give it some of the special kind of AI, and we can even change what they look like if we feel like it. And then you can rename them, and then you can put them on teams too. So we can actually put like, we'll do this in an interesting way. We'll make them red, yellow, yellow, and the rest can be brown. So we'll have like a 3-way head-to-head combat. Because why not? And you can even save it later. So if you want to make everyone look like Joanna Dark and then shoot them all, you can do that if you feel like it. And you can also select either a preset set of weapons, a custom set of weapons with everything you've unlocked. And again, you unlock more stuff as you go through either the campaign or the thing. Or you can do what I like to do, which is go with some random weapons and just try and get some weaponry going on that isn't like either A, intensely boring, or B, full of duplicates. It's usually better once you've unlocked the entirety of the set of weapons that the game has in terms of like the randomness. That'll do. That will do. You've also got plenty of maps to go on. I haven't even unlocked them all yet. But there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 unlocked so far, including 3 maps from GoldenEye 007. Which is awesome. We're just going to hit random though, because why not? And considering this is a team game, we'll up the score a little bit to 25. But we'll lower the time limit to 5 minutes so that we don't spend too long on the same map. We do also have the option to load in our own custom player with their own look. I like playing as the Shock Troopers, but you don't have to. There's tons of options for characters. And of course, the more that you go through the game, the more of these that you will unlock. Including the ability to play as the aliens, and they are the odd job of this game because they are just shorter or taller. You can also, of course, like change your controls, change some options there. You can also see some statistics, which is pretty awesome actually, being able to not only like actively level up in the same way that would be massively exploited later on in games like Call of Duty later on, but there's no actual unlocks behind it, except like a username and password that never actually ended up leading to anything. But you can see all your stats and stuff as well, which is really neat. The amount of hours I put in trying to get up to rank 1, I think the furthest I ever got legitimately was rank 3. You can also change the soundtrack if you like. Having it on multiple tunes will just change it up as it goes. You can change the team names. You can lock it to only let the person who lost or whatever change stuff. You can change the split and stuff here. And you can even just like select challenges here if you feel like it, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to hit start game. Look at that, you've even got like the radar going on that tells you where all the dudes are. Hi, die. So yeah, the Farsight XR20. It's a weapon. It is a sniper rifle. It goes through walls, but it also has a secondary functionality. You want to know what the secondary functionality is? It's called Target Locator. If I hold the aim button, it searches out a target for me, and then I can shoot them. How cool is that? It's so overpowered, but it's really hard to care just because the gun is so awesome. There are a lot of, like, guns and shit like this that are just... Whoops, he shot me with a Farsight. Great, you got 2 dudes running around with Farsights. That's gonna be fun to deal with. Oh cool, Phoenix. Pistol with explosive bullets. Why the hell not? I just got my shit wrecked. Because yes, the hard sims are actually quite difficult, even on the... Oh shit. Ah, I got hit from the side. But yeah, these bots, actually capable. Like, it's not like other first person... Oh shit. Oh, he's unarmed. That's alright, makes it an easy kill for me. But yeah, these bots are not stupid. There's a few ways in which they're limited. One is that you can't... What's the word I'm looking for? You can't shoot the guns out of their hands. And there are some weapons that they are just not good with. So, mines, for example. If you give them remote mines, they will throw them, but they'll never detonate them. Which is, I'm running away. Hey, buddy. Because some guy was shooting at me with a Farsight. There are also certain weapons they can't make active use of, like the Farsight XR20's target locator. They are still more than happy to shoot you to death with it anyway, so do not try. Also, yeah, you can dual wield pistols. It did not help me there in the slightest. That was my phone going off. But those are, in the long run, those are very minor things. They can work their way around the map. They know how to play objectives, and they know how to play them well. They know how to do things like use the cloaking device, and the cloaking device is actually really useful, because the cloaking device, not only does it hide you, but it actually makes the AI invisible. Like, it actually makes you invisible to the AI, I should say. So, It's very useful in that respect. Hi! His body just disappeared and I was juggling the gun in the air. Why not? They know the maps. They know how to get around them. They know where all the weapons are, as I said before. The ones that say that they're going to go straight for the shield, they will go straight for the shield. Damn. I wasn't doing very well in health there, so my survival was not guaranteed. Whoop, the game just ended, and I just hit start to go right through it. That's alright, we probably lost. That's just how things go. Let's add the custom. I'm gonna actually... We'll set it to heavy. Now we'll change it to custom. Kiss and Avenger. We'll change the Reaper to the Slayer. We'll change... the Super Dragon can stay. The Shield can stay. And we'll change the final one to... something interesting. The Shotgun. Sure. You can also just press start there, but, you know. Alright, weaponry, please. And as you can see, there are a ton of maps. And they're all... Oh, God. Something is... It's exploding already! Oh, man. Here's the Mauler, by the way. It is a pistol with a charge-up shot. This guy's using a fly-by-wire rocket, by the way, because those do exist. Yeah, this is a Mauler. If you hit someone dead on with it, it's an instant kill if you hit the charge-up shot. Unfortunately, that guy had a shield, so he did not die immediately. But someone else came along and took care of him. Because these games can be chaotic. And you know what the best thing is? This mode supports 4-player split screen. Plus the 8 bots. So, 12 people. Technically. 12 players. Can you just imagine how much of a cluster that would be? And on the Xbox 360 port, you can even go online. I'm not even kidding. You could go online with this game, and it was fucking sick. No, but like, nobody played it for longer than like a week, which I am so disappointed by. Oh, by the way, Slayer. Fly-by-wire rocket. Did I actually manage to kill him before I died? Nope, I didn't. Damn. Oh well. Hi. Ow, ow, ow. What the hell am I being shot by? Ow. Whatever it wasn't very good. Now I can't see for shit. There is no sense of balance when it comes to this weapon. When it comes to these weapons. That's just half the fun. Yes! Double instant kill shots, and I still died. Oh well, I still got a hit in. I'll take it. 643. We're doing alright. Slayer. Like, quite literally in this case. Also, it's very hard to fire them effectively. The regular rocket launcher fires way faster rockets, but yeah, it's very easy to like send them on a weird path if you so much as like, oh god. Oh, I got him, he walked right into the explosion. He didn't really have much of a choice, but I'll take it. Now I just need to run the fuck away. There we go. Dual Maulers is really cool because again, you charge him, you go boom, dead, boom, dead, boom, dead. There's just so many, like, little things along these lines, which makes just jumping into a game with, like, random weapons fun. Not to mention you've got all the DMC. Oh my god, he disarmed me. You little shit! I picked up a Slayer. I sure did. And I still completely missed! Oh, he did it. That's what makes this fun, man. Just the random shit. Like, look at this. Super Dragon. Regular assault rifle with a grenade launcher. One of the least ridiculous weapons in this game. Surprisingly. But still. Just listen to the sound effect on this gun, by the way. fucking cool is that? Like, all the sound design on these weapons is great as well. Everything from the, everything from just the regular guns firing to the alien rocket launcher to the, just everything about this game sounds fantastic too. Look, the game even makes it a little bit more fair on the people who don't have guns yet by not letting you lock onto them automatically with auto aim. Also, yeah, an alarm starts sounding off when it gets close. There we go. Awards: Most Deadly and Most Frantic. Weapon of choice: unarmed. Oh, we came second by 1 kill. That's depressing. I'm still scoring better than most of them though, but if we were to turn them up to perfect sims, I guarantee you, I would not be scoring anywhere near as much. Alright. We'll random it up again. Actually, hang on, we'll do automatics. We'll do customs as well. We'll leave the shield there. And we'll add a... What can we add there that would be interesting? Shotgun. Sure, why not? Arena random, everything's random. Yeah, let's go. There's one other thing that's really neat about this game's AI, though. So, when you're in a match with simulants, if you hold the A button, you can just bring up your weapon select like normal, right? But if you hit the Z or the L or the R button, you can not only change your function, but if you do it again, you have the ability to give them orders. And these orders actually change depending on, what game mode you're playing. So you can order them to, like, stay near the flag or go and capture their flag, too. It's bloody sick. And there's this one game mode that I used to love playing with my cousin, who I used to be, like, majorly playing this game with back in the day. We used to play on the temple. We'd get the laser weapon, which I don't have unlocked yet. And we would go and play, oh god. We'd go and play, what's it called? We'd go and play on the temple. We'd have all the weapons be lasers. We'd have the gameplay in slow motion. We'd have every hit be a one-hit kill. And then we would both order all the AIs to gather around us. And we'd both meet in the big room in the middle. And we'd have slow motion instant kill laser fights. We called it Star Wars. And this game has all sorts of room for things like that. It's so cool. Like, it, compared to any other FPS that was coming out around this time on the consoles, like sure, you can play something like Unreal Tournament and say it's no contest, it's better, right? But I didn't have a PC until like 2005 that was even remotely capable of playing games. And even then I was still stuck with things like Doom. If I tried to play something like Unreal Tournament 98 or whatever, Unreal Tournament 99 or something like that, it would slow computers like that to a crawl. So, when you come across a game like this that lets you play around with it and do whatever the damn hell you please with it in that sort of sense, it just makes it something special. Especially for console players who didn't have this kind of freedom. That's probably where they took a lot of their inspiration from. They played GoldenEye, like they made GoldenEye 007, which was like revolutionary in the, oh god. Yeah, I just got my shit rocked. They made GoldenEye 007, which was revolutionary for console first-person shooters. And then they were like, okay, how can we improve on it? So they basically went back to the PC style of things. And, oh, Jesus. I was so lucky that next to none of those shots hit me. Damn it! Just didn't get the gun out fast enough. And they were like, what do we do? And they basically just went back to the PC side of things. Okay, what can we add, like, being able to change specific parameters, like mutators? We can do that. Can we do something like, oh, can we do something like, hey, Dolphalcon 2s. They're not very good, but you can still use them. But yeah, can we just make like little mutator-like things that change the way the game plays? We can do that. Can we add multiple different modes? Can we do that? Can we add bots? We can do that. Can we add all sorts of... oh god. Can we add all sorts of like things that players on PC are used to make our game just that little bit more awesome? And they did it all on the Nintendo 64. Like, this game remains one of the most impressive, like, technical feats to ever be put on a single console to this day. Like, seriously. It is really impressive. Like, even, like, it took, like, multiple different kinds of modifications to get AI bots that you could order around. Like, watch this, for example. You can even order them to attack specific people. Like, that's nuts. Why would they do that? I don't know, but it's great. It is legitimately awesome that they let you do that. It's dumb as hell, and there's very few, like, uses for it. But it still manages to be one of the coolest things you can do on a console-based FPS. That works. So yeah, I love Perfect Dark. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It is awesome. There's tons of weapons to play around with. The diversity in the missions is great. There are... oh god. I just got the grenades punched out of my hand by some asshole. Strangely enough, it doesn't even let you... 1, 2... shit. I screwed that one up. It has so many options for you to play with in the multiplayer mode that it feels almost like too much. There are, of course, problems with it. Like, the challenges are all designed around the idea of playing with other people. You're meant to, like, pick them up with, like, 3 other people, because if you don't, they have this annoying tendency to actually be really hard to successfully finish. Because, when you play them with multiple people, it actually adds extra stimulants to the fight. So if you're playing with like 4 people, it'll add 4 stimulants. But if you're only playing like by yourself, you'll only get like 1 stimulant to play with, which makes the challenges a bit boring and actually really hard when it's you against like 2 perfect sims and not having like any backup whatsoever. But if you manage to get through all of that, the combat simulator is some of the best way to just plonk down and spend some time shooting people in. Like, there's a reason why the Time Splitter games are so good and why I want to actually do a video on one of those games someday, because most of the people who made GoldenEye went on to find Free Radical Design, who then went on to make Time Splitters. And Time Splitters 2 felt like a spiritual successor to GoldenEye, and Time Splitters Future Perfect felt like a spiritual successor to Perfect Dark. And it's one of the reasons why Time Splitters are so fondly remembered, because they built on this shit. They had AI bots for practically everything. They had the ability to build your own maps. They had a ridiculous set of weapons that you could mix and match at will. They even had online play, which Perfect Dark could not have hoped to have done. How are we doing? Despite the fact that I've died so much, we're almost there. We're almost in the lead. We're almost tied. Yeah. This game is fucking awesome. That's all I have to say about it. It is, like... I'd call it the best Nintendo 64 game. Technically, gameplay, graphically, even sound design. Like, most people say it's like Ocarina of Time. Some people will say it's Super Mario 64, but screw that. Give me Perfect Dark over any of those games any day. I'm still hoping for them to bring back the, I'm still hoping for them to put the PC port on PC, and because, just while I'm here, I might as well talk about the Xbox 360 port, because, well, I have actually played the 360 port thoroughly, and the 360 port was also awesome. Mostly faithful to the source material and their HD upscaling of everything. They added, not that much, but they did add some separate challenges, like go through the entire game without auto-aim, which is an interesting concept, but considering that they actually improved the, they actually improved the game's controls on the Xbox 360 to actually make that possible, it's entirely a neat thing. And it's just, it was a really well done HD port as well. It ran at 60 frames and did a really good job at running at 60 frames. It was great. Know what I meant to do. Most honorable and most frantic. We won! Hooray! Okay, this recording's been going for an hour and 10 minutes, so I don't really want to keep you any longer. If you have any way, shape, or form of playing Perfect Dark, I recommend that you do it. It's got a fantastic solo campaign. It's got tons of options in the combat simulator to have fun with. It's got some great split-screen modes if you can manage to drag a friend to your computer or to your Nintendo 64 to play through with. It's got a ton of things like unlockables to play around with. Even some neat hidden stuff like the cheese on every level that does absolutely nothing, but is still fun to track down either way. It's great. It's absolutely great. I really appreciate pretty much everything about it. So, yeah, go play it. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.